Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Najwa. If you're new to this channel, please do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. Hit that bell, that way you know whenever I post video, it really helps up my little growing channel and build a community. And let's get into it. So this is an article from ET. Carlee Russell charged by Alabama authorities for a hoax report of kidnapping. Why? Just why? Why? And you know what? This right here has like the Elizabeth Holmes kind of thing written all over it. What do I mean by that? Elizabeth Holmes, I am so upset with her. Like I'm upset with her because at this time, at this day and age, where bigotry, obsession in the media, the social media monster, hate speech online, hate speech against women, both on the streets and online all the time. The fact that women are making 84 cents on the dollar to every man. The fact that we cannot get the true representation of women that we need in the workplace and middle management and female leadership and politics. This is a crucial time. And Elizabeth Holmes, she just made us all look bad. She made us all look bad. The same way that people like Tim Scott, even though I do like his comments, thank you for saying that slavery did not have benefits about, that with Ron DeSantis, but the same way that people like Tim Scott are making, it's such a crucial moment right now. We don't need, rogues making us look bad because it's the gauntlet, it's on, it's game time. Carlee, no, baby, no. Why did you do this? And she's not just making, the black community look bad from a female standpoint as well. We already have so much victim blaming, Look at the Amber Heard trial. You have so many, so much internalized misogyny right now, and misogyny in general, to the point where people are condemning victims and upholding abusers. It's too crucial right now. We need honesty and integrity in these movements to advocate for the equality and treating with respect and humanity of women, of black people of color. Carlee. Anyway, okay. So this is an article from ET Online. Carlee Russell charged by Alabama authorities for hoax report of kidnapping. This is by CBS News, and this was released on July 28, 2023. So it says Alabama authorities announced on Friday that Carlee Nicole Russell, a 25-year-old nursing student, was charged with 2 misdemeanors for falsely claiming that she was kidnapped earlier this month. Now let me pause there. I'm going to pause a lot because I'm just going to put my little comments in here. Let me pause there and just say another reason why, this makes us all look bad and it minimizes the efforts of anti-racist causes is because, for example, I was looking at Indisputable with drrashadrichie, which is a wonderful channel. And they had actually reported on this. I don't know if they've updated since to let everyone know that it was a hoax, but I actually saw it when they were thinking that this was real. And I also saw on the channel, probably sometime this week or last week, I'm not completely sure when, there was a episode where they were talking about these young men, these young African American men who quite literally were held hostage in a house for 2 hours by off-duty cops and beaten, tortured, and raped, assaulted, because one of them was allegedly dating one of their daughters. Either allegedly dating one of their daughters or dating white women. And I was like, oh, you like to date white women? You like to date white women? And people were coming into the comments. The white supremacists were quite literally coming into the comments and mentioning and evoking Carlee Russell's name. They weren't even acknowledging the lack of humanity and the violence and the grotesque nature of these crimes against these African American men, which they never do. You know, white supremacists who are shielded by a nameless, faceless profile versus the ones who are, you know, literally concealing that under a face and a suit, you know, as a politician. That's something they often do, is this diversion technique. Instead of focusing on the oppression of your people, we're going to focus on the small exceptions that we can think of, you know, that show something else, that show corruption. But if you look at the massive scale that black people are oppressed on, that women are oppressed on, and you take out these outliers and you try to build a case upon that, really, what kind of person does that make you? So to continue on, it says Russell was charged with falsely reporting to law enforcement and falsely reporting an incident, said Hoover Police Chief Nick Durzis. I grew up near Hoover, guys. I'm sorry, I was born near Hoover. I grew up in Atlanta. Both charges are Class A misdemeanors that carry a maximum punishment of 1 year in jail and a $6,000 fine upon conviction, said Durzis. These charges were filed in a municipal court, said Durzis. Russell turned herself in to law enforcement voluntarily and was booked and processed at the Hoover City Jail, said Durzis. She was released on $1,000 bond for the charges. Durzis says he was disappointed that the only misdemeanor charges could be filed against Russell. He said he was going to ask state legislatures to add enhancements to current legislation for people who report a false crime. Durzis also requested the assistance of Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall for further investigation into the case. Marshall said on Friday his office will continue to monitor if additional charges are warranted in this case, and that it is not uncommon for the Attorney General's office to be involved in a misdemeanor case investigation. Russell had called 911 on July 13th to report a toddler missing on the side of the highway. Then, after calling a family member, she disappeared without a trace, triggering a massive search involving local, state, and federal agencies. Just 2 days after she went missing, Russell appeared at her parents' house around 10:45 p.m. on July 15th, police said. Pause there again. America, especially the South, you know, as someone who's from the South, and y'all saw my video about Jason Aldean, there is stigma around mental health. There's a mental health crisis going on in America. Speaking as American, even though I live in Europe, there's a mental health crisis that's going on that people don't want to acknowledge, okay? And then things like this happen, and it just gives leeway for bigots to use it at, you know, really vulnerable people's expense, really vulnerable groups and minorities at their expense. So let's keep going. She told the Hoover Police Department a man had picked her up, forced her over the highway fence and into a vehicle. Russell told police she was kept in a trailer truck with a man with orange hair and a woman. Russell told police her abductors took photos of her and fed her cheese crackers. You know, like, this mental health initiative, it can't just be, you know, I won't say mental health initiative. This awareness that needs to happen around mental health in the United States can't be the only thing that's done. You also have to address what the problem is. Mental illness is a symptom. You have to look at the problem. The problem is the gap between the rich and the poor that's growing ever so far and wide, you know, in the United States. It is a lack of representation of black leadership and middle management and executive leadership in politics, like we're talking about all the time. It is racism, it's xenophobia, it's misogyny, it's sexism. Like, why do we have to say this stuff in 2023? And the problem is that people don't recognize that holding up these systems of oppression hurts everyone. America was not founded as an autocracy. It's a democracy. Trying to take it to the autocracies that we escaped from, I won't say we because, you know, My ancestral history is a little bit different from the original settlers in the United States, and I say settlers, not slaves. But the colonizers, what they came from, y'all don't want to go back to that. Y'all don't want to go back to people being guillotined in the street, because that's not limited to just black and brown people. Oh, that's everybody. Y'all don't want that. So it goes on to say investigators grew increasingly suspicious of her story because they couldn't find any additional evidence of a toddler missing on a highway, even though numerous other cars had passed that stretch of the highway, the Hoover Police Department said. They also discovered a series of online searches, including one for Amber Alerts and how to take money from a register without getting caught. Russell had made prior to the kidnapping. A week after her return, and you know what? Pause there again. Y'all, America, by saying y'all, I mean America. America, pay black women what they're due. Please pay women, period. All women. Pay people what they are due. Because right now, rich billionaires are getting enriched with tons, huge pockets full of money. And the average person, even the ones who are supporting people like Donald Trump and MAGA, they are the ones who are suffering. Black people are suffering. Women are suffering. Okay? Maternal mortality rates. Women suffering from illnesses like fibroids and endometriosis is stress related. What causes stress? Money issues. Pay women what they deserve. And that's not to make an excuse. This is not to make an excuse for bad behavior. I'm just saying, mental illness, crime is a symptom of something. You got to get to the root of the problem. So it goes on to say, a week after her return, Russell issued a statement through her attorney to the Alabama community saying the kidnapping was made up. There was no baby, and this was a single act. Through her lawyer, she asked for forgiveness from the community, the volunteers who searched for her, and the Hoover Police Department. Y'all, please tell me what you think of this. Let me know in the comments. If you're new here, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button. Hit that bell, that way you know whenever I post a video, and I'll see you guys next time.